So a very good morning to all of you. I welcome you all for this thematic webinar on science in the time of COVID. I'm sure you might have enjoyed our yesterday's talk by Dr. Vinod from Christ University, where he has emphasized mainly on the job opportunities in basic sciences. Today we have one more eminent scientist, very young person from our Mysuru region. Dr. Chandan. Yes, so he's working as assistant professor in chemistry at JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, Mysuru. So briefly, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Chandan. He obtained his master's in biotechnology from the JSS College, Mysore, and then MPhil from Indira Gandhi National Open University. So, and then he pursued his PhD degree in biotechnology from the University of Mysore, and for the same, he has been awarded the PhD degree in 2013 and 14, in the year 2013-14. Well, currently he is working as an assistant professor at JSS uh, Academy of Higher Education and Research. His main research interests include in molecular biology, microbiology, uh, molecular genetics, bioinformatics, and in broadly, I can say biotechnology. He's very dynamic researcher, and for his credit, he has published over 60 research papers in internationally peer-reviewed journals. And apart from his academic interest, he is taking active roles in administrative tasks, and he's academic coordinator, academic council coordinator, and he is an active participant in the NAC committee from the institution, and he is also a course coordinator for different kind of courses which are being held at JSS Academy of Higher Educations. Well, with this brief introduction, I will invite Dr. Chandan, yes, to take over this session. So, yeah, Dr. Chandan, it's yours.
Thank you, Shiv, for the nice introduction, for the brief introduction, what you have given. Before going for the webinar talk, I'll just try to share the screen. Hope the slides are visualizing, so you can see the screen.
Yes, it's visible. Yeah.
So maybe the slides what I have prepared, it's not visualizing, I think, Dr. Shiv.
Yeah, it's not completely. I think there is some problem with the slides. Why don't you just share the PowerPoint?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Yeah, no problem. You can take your time. Just bear with us. Apologies for the technical issues.
Shiv sir? Shiv sir?
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry for
Yeah.
the delay. Maybe due to the network issues, I had some problem. Hope now you can see the slides clearly, right?
Yes, it's absolutely clear.
Very sorry for the problem caused from my side.
That's okay. No issues. We should thank our participants for bearing with us.
I seek apologies for that.
Yes, sir. Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
directly to the presentations. Quickly, we'll go to the presentation. Before we start the presentation, I would like to say a few words by taking the blessings of Mata Amrita Tai and for guiding the light of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham and His Holiness our Jagadguru Shri Shivaratreswara Swamiji. And I thank all the higher authorities for inviting me to this webinar series today. And I also I would like to thank the chairman of the department and my beloved friend Dr. Shiv and Sujit sir for the continuous effort in arranging for this webinar series. I also take this opportunity to thank my institute JSS here for the continuous support they're giving to build my career. And with this, let us start today's discussion. Rather than the webinar talk, I would like to say this as a discussion because I am so teeny in front of the science and the knowledge. And I'm also talking in front of so much of elderly people. I seek blessings and also I seek apologies if I make any mistakes in this presentation. Kindly bear with me and please excuse me if I make any mistakes in the presentation. With this, let's start today's webinar. It's already, I have delayed for 5 to 6 minutes already. Hope you can see my video and audio very clearly. Before starting, I would like to have whether the the video and audio, if it is
Yes,
clear,
sir.
please.
Yes, sir. Everything is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Today, basically I'll introduce myself. I'm Dr. Chandan from JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research. I work as an assistant professor and course coordinator for the Department of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics, School of Life Sciences, which is situated in Mysuru. Uh, I'll be speaking about what science we have studied and what is the part of science which has taken in the time of COVID-19. COVID-19, as you all know, no need to have the introduction for this COVID-19. Even if you ask for a baby also, they will tell the full form for COVID, coronavirus disease, which has happened in 2019. And basically, when we speak about the COVID-19, we will call this disease as a pandemic disease. What do you mean by pandemic disease? When pandemic disease is nothing but a coronavirus pandemic, also we will call. When we study a particular disease in a particular region, then it is called as epidemic region. When we call particular disease, when we are studying all together throughout the world, it is called as pandemic. This is the difference between the epidemic and the pandemic. This COVID-19 is a pandemic disease. It's an ongoing global pandemic coronavirus disease, which is happened in the year 2019. Basically, it is caused by a severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, or it can also called as a SARS-CoV-2. This is a slide where you can see how the science has evolved during the time of COVID-19. And here in this today's talk, I'll be speaking about the epidemiology of corona and what are the precautions to takes place and what is the life cycle of this SARS-CoV-2. Or I am also talking about because here most of the students are from BSc background, or many students are looking for the BSc courses which is there in Mysuru region, especially in Amrita. You have got so much of BSc courses. Basically, I will be talking about the online courses which you can opt when you study or when you opt your science student science subject during your BSc subjects. I'll be just covering a few aspects of COVID-19. Also, I'll be covering few aspects of some online courses which has introduced by our MHRD, that is our government of India. Whatever the online courses they are providing, I'll be speaking about this in today's webinar. And when we speak about the severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, the first outbreak was first identified in Wuhan city, that is in China, in December 2019. The World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on 30th January 2020. They have declared this disease as a pandemic disease. Maybe it's on the month of January, March 11th, they have declared this as an international emergency. And now, till date, we have more than 6 million people have been infected with this COVID-19, and more than 188 countries and territories have resulted more than 470,000 death cases we have seen, and more than 4.49 million people have recovered from this disease. I would like to mainly I want to tell about this. 4.49 million people have been recovered from this because of their immunity. They have recovered, and maybe they are using some repurposing drugs. Because of all these things, the people, 4.49 million people have been recovered from this disease. Coming to this virus, virus is a primarily spread between people during the close contacts. When they move to the close contact with the infected people, then only this viral infection will come. That is in the form of a droplet. When the patient produces a droplet by coughing or by sneezing or by talking, these are the different things where the patient may spread the disease through the droplets, and it may fall on the ground or the other surface rather than traveling through the air. This is the main important thing you need to remember when it comes to SARS-CoV-2. This is a very new virus, and the first case was identified people with pneumonia cases. It was first discovered in which was first came in Wuhan city, China, and it probably started in animal. But that's why you can see in the picture. Probably they have presumed, or they have assumed that it may come from the animals. It has started from the animals, but now is spreading between one people, like in the community it is spreading. As this virus is very new, we are learning more all the time, and what we know now may change. What brought the virus into many countries? As I mentioned, it has spread more than 188 countries and territories. It has been infected. How it has come? This is only because of many countries have now detected these virus because of the travelers. Some people who were in contact with these travelers were found infected by them, and it is possible that every location will have the cases of COVID-19. If you observe the trend which is going in this pandemic situation, you can observe every day in each location you can find the cases of COVID-19. Even in Mysuru also you can observe yesterday what the things happened, and day before what the things happened. And you can see our capital city Bangalore, how the cases are increasing. These are the things we should take care to stop the spreading. How is it spreading? Most people are being infected from other people. This is the main thing what we need to remember. This is the spread is happening between when one infected person is coming in contact with the other person. I have already mentioned the points, and people can get infected when these droplets, when they enter the nose or eyes and mouth, these droplets will get in, and the infection starts there. And touching the contaminants objects puts the droplet into our hands. That's why always the prevention measure to get rid of this COVID-19 is to wash your hands properly with your hand sanitizer. If you don't find anywhere water, you can have the alcoholic based hand sanitizers to get rid of this COVID or COVID-2. And some peoples have been infected following contact with an infected person with minimum or no symptoms. This is nowadays we are observing this that is called as asymptomatic issues. I'll be discussing in the coming slides. Coming to the symptoms, what are the different symptoms we like one day after exposure that is observed in the 14th day? That's why the quarantine period is for 14 days. When we observe the patient, they will be having these symptoms of fever or coughing will be there, because they'll be infected with the lung infections, their respiratory infections will be there. That's why they'll be having severe cough, and sore throat will be there, and fatigue will be there, and breath during they breathe, the shortness of breath will be there. And nowadays they have come up with the other thing of symptoms, like they suddenly they lose their smell and taste. and also they will be getting severe headaches, muscle aches, or diarrhea. These are the different symptoms. If one comes along with all these symptoms, definitely like WHO have been told people to go for a medical checkup, thorough medical checkup. We can go for the random checkup if you have one of these symptoms. Till date, we don't have any particular treatment for this, but diagnosis are there. Like they are using some concepts of RT-PCR or PCR techniques, polymerase chain reaction techniques, to diagnose whether the patient is positive or negative. They have this diagnosis, but till date we don't have any specific treatment. Like it may go from mild symptoms, can be treated with medicines at a for whatever the medicines we take for the normal fever or relief pain. If the symptoms are more severe, treatment in hospitals is required, because the patients should need that ventilators. How to prevent this COVID? As I already mentioned, you should wash your hands frequently with soap and water, and use alcohol based hand sanitizers when soap and waters are not readily available. And you cover your face with your mask or with your handkerchiefs, or to cover your coughs and sneeze, you need to have these precautions. Do not share food and drinks and personal items, to including your mobile phones. Don't give it to the your friends or whatever the infected people. Don't transfer all these like don't share your food and drinks. If you have any symptoms, even if you only have mild, you please stay home and stay safe. These are the guidelines which is given by WHO, and these are the preventions you can take during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. How to avoid exposure? When the people are more about this now, they are discussing about social distancing. What is this social distancing? When a person keeps his distance 1 to 2 meters or 3 to 6 feet away from others, this is called as social distancing. If they appear well, and avoid direct contact with them. Avoid touching your face frequently, that is your eyes, nose, mouth. Don't touch these surfaces frequently. Whenever you touch all these surfaces or any surface you are touching, please wash your hands properly, and avoid shaking hands, kissing, hugging. Instead of you can do bow or wave or say hi. These are the different techniques you can have to maintain the distance between 1 to 2 meters. Avoid activities which exposes you to a large group of like people, like marriages or mass prayers. Don't avoid all these things. Work from home is the best possible way to avoid exposures, and avoid traveling. These are the different avoiding the exposure. What do you do if you get sick? That is, main thing you have to do is do not travel. Cover your cough and sneeze. Use a tissue or mask if available. Have your hand sanitizers with you all the time. And whenever you have symptoms of COVID, please seek a medical opinion from the best doctors available in your local community. Like if you don't need to go to hospital, stay home, stay safe. These are the different things you can remember to get how to get like rid of these six. Screening and contact tracing. Screening is, maybe it can be done at the entry points. You can have thermal screening. Even in our institutes or in the Amrita Institute, they are making this thermal screening. Whenever a faculty member or a office non-teaching staff, they are entering to the campus, they can have thermal screening. They can sanitize the faculty members or teaching non-teaching staff. These are the primary things we should follow when we are going to the institutes or when we are traveling to outside. Health authorities may perform contact tracing, identifying people who have been in contact with someone with COVID-19. These contacts may be asked to stay home at 14 days. This is nothing but you have been quarantined for 14 days. If you follow all these advices from the health authorities, definitely the COVID-19 can be cured very easily. When to wear mask? People have more questions on this. When to wear mask? That is, no need to wear mask when you are inside your room or when you are in the private places. No need to cover your mask. When to wear mask is when you are in a location where you have a widespread of transmission of COVID-19, or when you travel to a public places or crowded environments, or when you have coughing or sneezing, or when you are carrying a sick person, or if you are taking care of any sick person at home, please use mask. And use always whatever the filtered mask. At least when you are using the reusable mask, don't repeat the use of the same reusable mask. So don't wash the reusable mask. Once it is used one time, please throw it. Mask alone don't protect. They should be used along with the other hygienic measures. These are the different things you can take to uh, when to wear the mask. These are the precautions. Coping with stress during, because all of you have observed you had lot of stress. The two, when we speak about teachers or students, we had lot of online classes. Students have totally busy with their online classes. How to cope up with these COVID outbreaks? What how to get rid of this stress? Maybe you can take a break from listening to the or watching to or reading about COVID-19 frequently that is coming in social medias or TV channels. When you see to that news channels, or when you frequently see the messages which is giving most of like whatever the situation which is telling about COVID-19, you will be stressed. That's why avoid seeing like I'm not telling don't see social media. Please avoid seeing frequently about COVID-19 this one situations. Focus on the facts of COVID-19 and understand the risk of yourself and those who care about you, because you have kids in your home, you have elderly person at your home, maybe your father or my mother. If you consider my case, my father is 67 now, my mother is 61 now. Because we should be very careful, because I go every day, I work and I come back. We should be very careful because we have so many factors, because we have kids, we have parents. That's why please try to understand yourself and try to understand those who care about you, and separate facts from rumors. Don't spread the rumors, and don't also take the rumors from others. If stress continues to hamper your daily activities, please talk to a doctor or someone you can trust. These are the coping with the stress during the COVID-19 outbreak. This slide already have been repeated. Coming back to the cluster of pneumonia, how they came to know this is COVID-19 when they observed the this is how the infected chest X-ray of a person, where you can see how a cluster of pneumonia have been taken place in the respiratory organ, and till date how many cases have been originated. This is December to till date have taken the data. Recent statistics says worldwide, this is on the 17th June have taken this statistics. When you see the worldwide confirmed cases, it is 8 lakh almost. This is the ratio, and when it comes to the death rate and when it comes to the recovery rate, it's almost matching. In Karnataka, especially when we see the confirmed cases are 7,000, it has increased yesterday. And recovered cases, you can see almost 49% of the cases have been recovered, and deaths are only 94 on 17th June. Uh, when coming to the pattern of disease progression, how the progression has been taking place, when you consider any disease, it may go from mild to severe or critical. When we consider this mild, the recovery ratio is very high. Even when we compare with the common, this is also recovery rate is very high. When we compare mild with critical, the death rate is very small amount when we compare with the recovery amount. This is the pattern of disease progression which has been studied from World Health Organization, and this is the data of February. And nowadays, people are speaking about asymptomatic cases of this COVID-19. This was first observed in five patients which they were present in China, had contact before their symptoms onset with one asymptomatic family members who had traveled from epidemic center of Wuhan. And this is how the asymptomatic stage we have reached. Even here also we are assuming that community spread have started, or we are also having this asymptomatic cases even in our local community. This is how the role of asymptomatic COVID-19 cases have started. When we take an epidemic curve in India, that is COVID-19 epidemic curve, the median age group is from 37 years and it ranges between 20 to 77 years. Here, when we consider the statistical data, when we compare with the females, we have more number of cases with the males. Maybe as per my knowledge goes, males will be always will be traveling, and they are the person who are coming more in contact with the community. That's why I can say this is only my knowledge. When it goes to my knowledge, I'm just giving you like 59% of the males are having this epidemic curve, and proportion with a history of travel 83% are from the history of travel. when After completing all this, I would like to tell you about the biology of COVID, how the infection will start and how it looks. This is the 3D image of this SARS-CoV-2, and this is the structure of SARS-CoV-2. And when we take the whole genome and proteomic structure of SARS-CoV-2, uh, this is the maybe ORF region, open reading frames, and here only the non-structural gene will come. Here the structural genes will form. I'm not going in detail, uh, considering the set of people who are present here. And when it comes to the life cycle of SARS-CoV-2, here when you observe this picture, when virion, when it virus goes and attaches on the host cell, here with the help of this spike protein, whatever the spike protein which is present on the COVID-2, SARS-CoV-2, which is attaching onto the surface by an enzyme called as ACE2 receptor, that is angiotensin converting enzyme 2, using its receptor binding domain. Once it is attached, once the virion or the virus, when it got attached to the onto the cell membrane, it is releasing the viral RNA to the host cell. Once it is injected into the host cell, it follows the production of this genomic RNA, or it can be called as sgRNAs. Once these sgRNAs are produced, it is moving towards the genomic RNA, acts as mRNA to produce the structural RNA or sRNA and mRNA and S protein and M protein and E proteins. I'll be speaking more about this SME protein in the coming slide. Once these SME proteins are produced, then automatically it will move to the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum, once it is going and move to the place of endoplasmic reticulum, the viral genomic RNA is assembled, and this will release from the Golgi apparatus or endoplasmic reticulum. It will go to the Golgi apparatus. Then the virions were subsequently released out of the cell, and again it will go and infect the normal cell. This is how the life cycle of SARS-CoV-2 you can understand. Have taken one paper where it says they have constructed the phylogenetic tree. Phylogenetic tree is basically a tree which is constructed to see the evolutionary studies, how it has been evolved. Just to study that, they will construct this phylogenetic analysis or phylogenetic tree. I'm not going in detail how this maximum this tree will be constructed. This just I will just say how they compared the closest genetic similarity, what they found between the coronavirus, what they isolated, and from the bats, and they compared with the what the COVID-2, what the infection is happening now. This is how they came to know there is so much of similarity between the bat genome or with the human, whatever the infection is happening. Now, I told in the previous slide, I'll be speaking about S protein and N protein and E protein. These are called as the major structural proteins, which is encoded by the coronaviral genome. However, it has been proven that some of COVID-2 do not require the full assembly. When it comes and attaches on the surface, it does not require any of the full assembly of structural proteins. What will happen here, once it comes, the spike protein will help to attach onto the surface, where the nucleocapsid proteins and phosphoproteins that are capable of binding to this COVID RNA genome, and it has got a vital role in virion structure and replication and transcription of this COVID-2. Here, you need to remember the word central dogma, where the replication will happen, then the transcription will happen, then the production of this translation, that is, the proteins will be produced. These proteins are nothing but S protein and N protein and E protein. Here, the smallest of these key proteins is the E protein, which is amply expressed inside the infected cell, and this discharge of virions and this pathogenesis of virus will be caused due to this E protein. And the spike glycoproteins populate the surface of this virus and determine the host tropism by facilitating the attachment of this virus onto the host cell. So that you came to know the properties of all these protein, S protein and N protein and E protein. With this, I'll be ending the science of COVID, or the research which is happening. What made me to come into this research or to the research field is, when I completed my PUC, had some other opportunities to opt for the other subjects. But I opted this studying this biology as a major subject. I suggest the people who are coming from PUC, those who are completing their pre-university exams, I suggest people to opt for the basic sciences like biology or the chemistry, like this computer science. Basically, you opt for these subjects. This is my own experience. I'm just giving you. When I entered my research field, I thought I never publish any paper. This was my thought. But when I entered to this research field, I got so into that I have to do something. I have to give something to the society. So that we had a collaboration. Basically, if I take the example with my repo with Shivu sir, Dr. Shivu sir, we both are the collaborators. Always he'll be helping me to do some chemistry aspects. I'll be helping him to do the biological aspects. We both together we have published almost 30 to 35 papers. We both only have the collaboration like this. I am just enlightening you people to go for the science field so that you can achieve something in life and you can give something to the society. With this, I also would like to emphasize on the online courses which has been released or which is a part of MHRD. I would like to say a few. If I have time, I will ask the permission from the chair to continue with my presentation. If it is not a problem.
Yeah, yes, you can have another 5 minutes more, maybe.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll try to
Just
end up the session at,
yeah, just
at
I'll
12.
brief the online courses which is happening in MHRD like Swayam and MOOCs. I'll be speaking in 5 minutes. I'll be just briefing you out what you mean by Swayam and MOOCs. How can you register yourself when you become once you join for any BSc or any degree courses? How you can be a part of Swayam and MOOCs? I'll just give an introduction. These are the different discussion threads I'll be explaining you. Coming to the MOOCs, the full form for MOOCs is massive open online courses because during this pandemic situation, all of you have come to a point where online is must and should. Likewise, already the government have been introduced so many concepts of these online courses. Like one of the major course is MOOCs, that is massive open online course. Under this MOOCs, you have if you in your institute if you have a shortage of any particular subject qualified faculty or resources, you can get it from MOOCs. This is how you can design your own curriculum, basically taking the curriculum from MOOCs, or you can become the writers or the like you can give your study materials to the government so that if you are qualified or if you are expertise in any one of the field, you can give your inputs to the MOOCs. In Swayam, you can observe, or in MOOCs, you have one particular online education course that is Swayam, which is launched in 15th of August 2016 by the President of India on July 9th, 2017, by to study this SWAYAM, that is study webs of active learning for young aspiring minds. This is only for the students to the end of end users always will be students. That's why it is mainly meant for the young aspiring minds. That's why the name itself, study of webs of active learning for young aspiring minds. This was an initiative of government of India, and here they will be considering the three cardinal principles of education policy, that is access, equity, and quality. And you have a particular DTH educational TV channels called as Swayam Prabha. You can follow it in the MHRD website. Even you can go there and you can visit. You can see the lecture tutorials which is there in Swayam Prabha. And what are the features of this SWAYAM? The one-stop web and it can be used in mobile phones. And here you can find high quality of learning experience because most of the study learning material, what SLMs we will call, all the SLMs will be from IITs, IIMs, or IIScs. The faculty members who have got more quality in their research field, they will be developing the SLMs for this SWAYAM portal. And here the state-of-art system that allows easy access and monitoring and certification will you can take the certification from SWAYAM features. Basically, how it works. Uh, Directly, I'll just go to this SWAYAM portal, how it looks and how you can opt, you can browse, you can go to SWAYAM portal, you can browse for your interested courses, you can opt for the courses, and you can see your progress. Here, basically, how it works is you are going and you are registering with the SWAYAM portal, and you are discovering the courses, and you are enrolling to the course, and then you are learning in your own place. This is how the education should be. And then you get clarification online by using the discussion forum, whatever you have in the community, and then submit whatever the online assignments they are going to assign you, then complete your task or complete your course. Here, without paying any amount, you are gaining your knowledge. If you want to have the certificates, you have to register for the exams, pay some nominal fees which is fixed in Swayam, and write your exams and get the certificates. Here, one main thing you need to remember here is you have the credit transfer system from Swayam. If you are doing a particular subject which is already there in your syllabus, you can have the credit transfer from the host institute to the parent institute. This Swayam is giving an opportunity to have the credit framework for online, that you can transfer 20% of the credits to the parent institute. How the certification through Swayam will happen: accept and approve. Evaluation format is in aligning the host institute. Here, what faculties are getting from Swayam is you can globalize your teaching, and you can improve your API scores, and you can be the content writers I already mentioned. You can have the career advancement through this ARPIT. ARPIT is nothing but you have annual refreshers program in teaching. This is the full form for ARPIT. It has been decided by the UGC that when you successfully complete this course offered from this ARPIT, you are eligible to completing this one refreshers course. This is equivalent to the one refreshers course if you have completed this ARPIT in Swayam. This is one of the major advantage the Swayam is giving for the teaching faculty. And now this is the way the Swayam will work. That is, the first quadrant will be e-tutorial, and the second quadrant will be e-content and discussion forum and assessment. This is the quadrant approach of Swayam, and this is the content load. So I will be having 4 credits of course and 40 videos of 30 minutes, 40 SLMs. This makes 4 credits. This is how the SWAM works. You can be the content writers. You can propose from your institute also to become a part of this SWAM web portal. Uh, and when during the online, during this pandemic or COVID lockdown period, what our institute have been developed during this pandemic, the strategies and management what we have taken is we have both hospitals and we have colleges, different constituent colleges. The leadership have been motivated us to rapidly respond for the training and integration of the resources and reviewing the meeting and progression review. Everything was online during the COVID-19 lockdown period, and we had got an opportunity to learn the innovative things during this COVID-19 lockdown period. What I would like to tell by having this slide is even in the pandemic situation, we have learned the things, so many new things. That's why education never ends, education never stops. By saying this, I would like to say under the leadership of our Swamiji, where we have to have the vision, and Swamiji's are Ammais carrying us towards or enlightening us towards the light of our vision of education by saying where there is a vision, there is a knowledge, where there is a knowledge, there is a courage, where there is a courage, always there will be a success. With this, I thank all the authorities who had given me this opportunity to speak about this science during the COVID-19. If you have any queries, you can write to me. That is chandanas@jssuni.edu.in. For any questions, the forum is open for discussion. Thank you, one and all. Thanks again. Thanks, you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Chandan. That was a very impressive presentation, and I'm sure our participant might have enjoyed your presentation. And I request participants if you can just raise 1 or 2 questions quickly, since we are just running short of time. If you have any questions, please you can just interact with Dr. Chandan at this moment. Otherwise, you can always reach him on what his email address he has given. So it's open for discussion. This session is now open for discussion. If there are no questions, then I have one curiosity. It's just out of my curiosity. So I was just wondering how much time it would take to discover a vaccine for this COVID-19. From your
time is actually the proteins which I have mentioned in the presentations. When we take the virus, we cannot tell this as a living organism as well as non-living organism. This is the definition for virus. Right. When it enters the host organism, then only the virus will get activated. When it enters the cell membrane or when it enters the host system, it changes its structure oftenly. That's why this situation is happening. That's why the vaccination development of these vaccines are taking much of the time, because change in its structure. Oftenly it changes its structure. This is my answer, what I have from my end. If there are any answers from the audience or from attendees, if elders are present, I can have their answers too.
Right. So yeah, there's a lot of research going on in the field of drug discovery for this virus. Every day we are seeing we got that medicine, we got this vaccine which is going to cure, but immediately it's not working against the virus. That is what we are hearing nowadays. But it's just of curious, like people are very much worried about this pandemic. So they are really bored, actually, worried and bored to sit at home. Yeah.
That's why
So,
maybe in few months definitely the vaccines will be available. Hoping so.
yeah, that would be really good news. And I think there is one participant by name Bhaira Ram. You have any question?
Yeah.
Bhaira Ram?
Sir, no.
Okay. I just thought like you have something. But anyhow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you so much. So, well, Chandan, I'm very thankful to you, and thanks for giving your valuable time. And at the same time, I thank my colleague Dr. Sujit for organizing this event, and I thank the director of the institute and direct principal of our college for giving this opportunity or encouragement for us to arrange this webinar. And thank all the participants for taking this time and attending this webinar. So thank you very much. And if there are no more questions, we can just end up this session. Okay,
Sir,
Dr.
I
Chandan?
had a question.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Sir, after
Nice for the
taking the
attention.
sample of a patient
Nice
who
one.
has symptoms, then how do they find out if he has coronavirus, positive or negative?
Can you repeat again? Can you come again?
After taking the sample of a symptomatic patient, how do they find if it is positive or negative about the coronavirus?
Yeah. For this, first what they'll do is first they'll take the swab samples. That is either from nose or from the from the swab. Just take the swabs. Collect the samples. And this sample, whatever the saliva samples or mucus samples they have got it, they'll process the sample. First, they'll isolate the RNA. First, they'll be isolating the RNA of the virus or any of the RNA which is present. Then they will be carrying out a particular experiment called as RT-PCR, real-time PCR. Here, what they'll do is they'll convert the RNA to cDNA, and they have a particular instrument called as PCR instrument, polymerase chain reaction instrument, or thermocycler. It is called as thermocycler. What they will do is they have a particular primers to detect these kind of diseases. For particularly for this COVID-2, they have designed a particular probes or primers. If the primers go attach with whatever the RNA you have isolated, if the matching comes, then only they can see the positive results on the screen. If the primers go attach, then the result come positive, then they will say the infected person is positive to the SARS-CoV-2. Hope this clears your question, right, Kirtan?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I had two more questions, sir. One by one, I will ask. The first question is, how do we find an asymptomatic patient if he has coronavirus or not, and could he spread the virus too?
Yes, he definitely could spread the virus, but whenever a symptomatic patient, if that's why people are telling go for the random test. If you have any one of the symptom of this COVID-2, then definitely we should go for a random test. People in and around are in our country, people are not going for the random test. That's why when you consider the US or when you consider the India, in US statistics says people are going for the random testing, but here in our country we are lacking with this random this one checkups. Voluntarily we should go if you have any of the symptoms. If you have fever, yeah.
That could possibly because of the population of India, we could not take that much of random test for all of us.
Definitely, that is one of the major reason.
Sir, sir, if a person die by a coronavirus, COVID-19 disease, then is he or the dead body could spread also the virus because he would not be respiring or no water droplets would be flying off from it. So I had that.
Yeah, that's why you would have observed during the burial of these dead bodies, the family members are also not allowed nearer to the patient. That is one of the major thing they are doing. They're wrapping the patients. it will be completely wrapped, and then those person who are going to the graveyards, they are also completely covered. They are taking so much of precautions before, because definitely it spreads. If any one droplet comes out from the patient or the dead body, definitely the spreading will be, infections will be spread. uh, Definitely it will be there now, Kirtan.
Okay, sir, that's all what I've
Well,
got. Thank you so much, sir, for answering all the questions.
Thank you.
well, okay, Dr. Chandan, that was a nice interaction. Well, you answered most of the questions what Ketan had. With this, we can end this session, and again thank all the participants who has taken part in this webinar lecture. Okay, then thank you so much, Dr.
Thank
Chandan.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
opportunity given.
yeah,
Thanks for the opportunity given. Thank you so much.
yeah. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. I'll sign out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.